Yo, what up, guys? So, Michael Chandler has hinted at being willing to fight Nate Diaz, which would probably be the best power move because I was honestly really in love with the fight of Michael Chandler versus Islam Makhachev. Just because, one, I think that's a better matchup than a lot of people want to give it credit to. Islam needs a fight to stay active, and I think that would actually be a good victory for Islam. I think Islam would definitely get the job done, but it would have to be through knockout because of Michael Chandler's wrestling credentials. But Michael Chandler wants to move on now to Nate Diaz. So apparently the Islam Makhachev versus Michael Chandler stuff wasn't a marketing ploy like I thought. So, hey, it is what it is. But Michael Chandler, I think, versus Nate Diaz, if Diaz would somehow work out a quick one-fight deal contract with the UFC, unless Nate Diaz wants to return to the UFC for more than one fight. Now, obviously, winner of that fight gets to fight Conor McGregor. Why not? Because what if Nate Diaz pulls an upset? I'd have Nate Diaz as an underdog just because of the age and everything like that. I think that, honestly, Michael Chandler would give Nate Diaz a lot of problems. Even though Nate Diaz has really good boxing and Michael Chandler's a little chinny, I would have to say that, his power would probably at least knock down Nate Diaz. Not necessarily knock him out, because you can't knock down a Nate Diaz brother or a Nick Diaz brother or a Diaz brother, Slip of the tongue happens all the time. But moving forward, when Michael Chandler is looking for a new opponent, because I think the closer we get to a possible rescheduling of Conor McGregor versus Michael Chandler, I think the more we realize that might not happen. I hate to be a doomer, but the more I'm looking at it, the more I think that it's a pipe dream now at this point. I don't think Conor McGregor would be able to handle that. I think he knows that he'd rather stick with his acting career, and that's all fine. Just allow us to move on, please. Let's either make a decision on whether they want to make this fight or not, because now Michael Chandler really understands, hey, man, I lost 2 years of my career to this whole cause. And, you know what? He was chasing a money fight. And when you're near the end of your career, if you were in that position, you'd be looking to secure the biggest paycheck to put away for your retirement funds too. Even though, honestly, let's be real, Michael Chandler, he's probably got so much money he doesn't need a Conor McGregor red panty night. What he needs is probably just a Nate Diaz money fight. That would be a marketable fight, super marketable for the fans. Two just big names, because now I feel like it's easy to say that Michael Chandler went from being a competitive name in the rankings to just that name who wants to do fun matchups at that point. Like Conor McGregor, Masvidal, Diaz, Chandler, they all kind of fall under that monicum now, even though Nate Diaz and Masvidal are no longer in the UFC. But I honestly think that would be interesting if Nate Diaz were to come back just to write out another contract for the UFC, because then what he could do, fight Michael Chandler and fight Conor McGregor. Who knows? Because I know that Conor McGregor might maybe do the third fight, but if he's not willing to fight Michael Chandler, what's to say he's going to want to fight Nate Diaz? But I don't know. A lot of thoughts that go into that one. It seems like Michael Chandler's spitballing more ideas for what his future move is, because he's kind of understanding that, no, this isn't going to happen. And obviously, he got a lot of backlash for the whole Islam Makhachev stuff, so obviously he's picking a safer choice. Maybe not a title shot, but something a little bit more marketable. Some final last bit of entertainment to give the fans before he caps off his career. But I think it should happen. I think I'd be down to watch it, but that whole contract situation, wherever Nate Diaz is at, I don't know if he'd want to get sucked back into another 3 or 4 fight deal with the UFC. Unless, Dana White, you're willing to do a one-fight time thing and then maybe cap it. Because, hey, Nick's still in the UFC. I mean, I know that's surprising, but they'll make their decisions moving forward. I just think entertaining that fight might just be a smart idea. Fan service. Later.